Hi, this is Michael London of the Branson Update Magazine. It is November the 16th, 2016, and we're going to take a look at explorebranson.com today, specifically interested in finding New Year's Eve information. Now, I happened to notice yesterday when I was researching the new page on where to find Santa that there was a new blog page loaded, and it's all about New Year's Eve celebrations because it's a brand new blog page. I'm sure it's about 2017, and it is. Let's take a look and see what they're offering. Well, you can go to Chateau on the Lake to ring in the new year, Big Cedar Lodge, Top of the Rock, Keeter Center, and Hamner's Variety Theater. Let's take a look at these middle three: Big Cedar Lodge, Top of the Rock, and Keeter Center. All three are outside of this Branson city limits. All three are outside of the TCED tax district. All of the money from those two tax sources go to the chamber/CVB, who sets this site up and are using it right now to market New Year's Eve celebrations to ring in 2017, to market 3 entities out of the 5 that it markets to businesses that are outside of the tax zone from which the money was collected to make this website possible. In addition, it only lists one show. Now, this is a fabulous show and a fabulous New Year's party, but lots of shows in Branson have New Year's Eve celebrations. So what ought to be here is ring in the new year at a show or something to that effect with a generic description about all of the New Year celebrations within shows, and then a click through here rather than going to just one of the theaters. Now, if you were a savvy internet user, you might go up here to the search mechanism because you know that that will search inside the site, and you could just put in New Year's and it would bring up all the stories written about New Year's. Now, the first one, as it happens, is the one that we just looked at. Oh, no, it's not. Surprisingly enough, this is an older page that was used to market last year's New Year's information. How do we know that? Actually, we know because it's listing Doug Gabriel at the Branson Star Theater. So this is actually information presumably from 2 years ago when Doug was last at that theater. And so the information would have to be all checked out to see whether or not it's current. Nope, there it is. Fireworks display of 2015, the first one. So this is a 2014 page that has risen to the top of the search mechanism. How about the New Year's in Branson for Couples page? Well, hard to say because we don't see any year designation, but at least here's a different show. This one's from the Hughes brothers. From Christmas to New Year's, the page you requested does not exist. So obviously this would not be a way to find the information that we were looking for because it's old information. Now, we can quickly find that out about the page. What about the poor user? Do you think that they're going to know the difference between this year's page, which there it is, number 3, or the previous year's pages, which are stacked above it? Of course not. So, now this page you can get to not only by going through to the blog. However, most people will actually find that page as a result of a CVB placed ad out on the internet, little click-through window box, or perhaps a story on social media that when clicked will take people directly to that page. And that's what we're using to market right now our 2017 New Year's Eve celebrations. Sure, we could probably go through and find some additional information if we went searching through the site knowing how it all works. But by this point, either somebody's on their way to a business outside of the area. 3 out of 5 chance, right? Okay, let's look at how we can find. Actually, let's take a look there and see what we actually find on the events calendar. Will we find New Year's Eve set up properly? Of course, we're happy to have Christmas there, and there's no New Year's Eve information there. And now we would have to, these are in dated order, so in order to find New Year's Eve, we would have to toggle out into the future by date if we were able to actually discern that that's how this site worked. And you can imagine how tedious this would be, because there we are, we're out to Christmas Day, so now we're 3 pages into New Year's. What are we going to find? Well, there's a New Year's celebration at the Chateau, and there's one at the Hughes, and there's the one at the Hamners. Looks like that's it. So, that's how well we're set up on the events calendar. Now, let's take it one more look. Let's suppose we decided we weren't going to use this site that way, and instead we were going to do a Google search window, New Year's Branson, Missouri, and we noticed the explorebranson.com listing after a number of ads there, and we went to it. Oh, there's 4 ways to celebrate New Year's Eve in Branson. And guess what? This is old information. This is from last year, presumably, because there's Jonah. Don't have to check much further to know that all the rest of this information is suspect. You and I know that because we're in Branson. How does the consumer know that? So they'll start chasing down these various trails, and some of them might lead to current information, and some of them might not. The only reason it would be current information is if it was not changed by the venue offering the product year after year. So there we have it. We've ended up in a situation where we're marketing 3 out of 5 entities that aren't inside of our tax zone. We're marketing as if we only have one New Year's Eve show on the page that was just produced for New Year's Eve. And the other places we look, we find old information and dead links. And what's a consumer to do? More importantly, what's a Branson business to do? How much more do we have to create in the form of documentation to demonstrate that the city of Branson needs its own independent task force so that it can set goals and monitor whether or not they're being kept by the entity that they give our tax dollars to? The TCED ought to look closer as well. Okay, that's Michael London, Branson Update Magazine, November 16. Hoping that this situation can get fixed fast. Thanks. Otherwise, a lot of businesses are going to be disenfranchised.